This video is going to show you how to install WordPress at hostjacker.com's custom control panel. This is part 2, downloading, configuring, and uploading WordPress to your website. You should have already accomplished installing your database as described in part 1. If you haven't, you can view that video at cheapprowebsite.com under the web hosting review link, or check out the video on this channel. Now, first go to wordpress.org, that's org, not com, and download the most recent version of WordPress. Do that on the main page. When you come to the site, click on the bright orange button down at the bottom, and that will take you to the download area. There's another bright orange button there that allows you to download the zip file or the tar file if you'd prefer. Just click on zip if you're using Windows ME or anything above that, XP or Vista, and then click the save button. You'll already have a zip utility built in with any of those. Make sure you save the file in a separate folder named WordPress in your My Documents folder. That's just to keep everything in one spot. Now right click on the zip folder and choose extract all, and then just click the next button several times. Don't change anything at this point, and it will download that folder. You can see it appearing there on the screen, and extract it into the same WordPress folder next to the zip file. Remember, if you don't change the destination, the unzipped folder will also be in your WordPress folder where you can find it. Double click on the folder, which will be named WordPress- whatever the version number is, to open it, and inside you'll find another folder named WordPress. At this point you want to rename that folder. If WordPress is going to be the only thing installed on your website, you can rename that folder to be public_HTML. That'll make it the main folder on your website, and when people type in your website address, it'll take them straight to the WordPress blog. If, however, you're going to have an HTML website and a separate blog with WordPress on it, name it whatever you want. Test news, just what you want people to type when they are going to go to the blog, and what you want your link to read when it goes to the blog. To go there, they basically go to www.yourwebsitename.com/whatever you name it, news or anything you want. So remember, if WordPress is going to be your website, public_HTML. If it's only part, name it whatever you want. Now double click on the renamed folder to open it. Once it opens, you'll see you've got a whole assortment of files in there, but don't worry, this is pretty simple. You're only going to change one of them. You'll see one that's called sample config or config sample. You want to click on that one. That's the only one you're going to really deal with here. You're going to change a few lines in it. Once the file opens up, you'll see your database name, your database username, your password, and your database host all listed at the very top. You should have written down that information from installing your database. Your database name and your user are the same, your password, and then at HostJacker, for your database host, you want to type in supremecenter54.com. Make sure you leave the parentheses around the information that you're putting in, just as I did there. Once you've changed all of that information, just save the file. And at this point, make sure you choose save and not save as. Once the file has been saved, you're going to rename wp-config-sample to be simply wp-config. To do that, just right click on it, choose rename, and then backspace over the sample and the dash, so that it becomes wp-config.php. Now you'll need to upload WordPress to your website. If you don't already have FTP software, go to sourceforge.net/projects/FileZilla and download a free copy of FileZilla. It's the easiest FTP software I've found to use. When you go there, just click on the big green button and you can download FileZilla. It'll be a zip file, and you'll have to extract it, and you'll have to install it. All pretty simple and self-explanatory when you do it. Open FileZilla once you've installed it. Under File, Site Manager, input the info for your website. This is basically the location of your website address, and your username and password to log in at hostjacker.com. You don't need to change any of the other settings if you're hosting at HostJacker. Save the settings, then click on the Connect button. It'll connect to your website, and on your left you'll see all the files on your computer listed, and on the right the files that are on your website, which there may not be anything there yet if you've just started it. Navigate to the WordPress folder you created in My Documents on the left, and then open up the unzipped version there, and you'll see the file that you renamed earlier. It'll either say public HTML, in which case you're going to simply install that directly into your website there. Since we didn't name it that, we're going to be actually installing it in the public HTML folder, which already exists on this site since there is an HTML site there. Simply click on that folder to open it. And once it opens, you're going to want to install your blog, in this case the news folder, in there. To do that, it's very simple. FileZilla is very easy to use. Just click on the folder, drag it over to the other side of the pane, and drop it. And at the bottom you'll see the files start to download. Once all the files are finished uploading, you're done, and you can disconnect in FileZilla. Now that you set up your database for WordPress in the first video, and all the WordPress files are on your website, the next step is to install WordPress, which is very easy to do. I'll cover that in the next video. It's basically a simple process. You can find part 3 on this video channel, or go to cheapprowebsite.com to view all of the videos. You'll find them under the web hosting review link at the bottom of the page.